always do the drafts for my leagues. Not that anybody cares, but this is just general advice that applies to everyone. Do it as late as possible because you never know what's going to happen. You never know when that injury is going to happen. There's going to be a curveball. I always like to do the draft as late as possible, but plenty of these rookie receivers, Chris, are going to be coveted, as they always are. But it feels like, especially this year, there's some guys who could be special.
Yeah, there definitely is. It's a good group as far as, we've seen the last few years as depth at wide receiver, the same as is here this year with this wide receiver class. But the first rounders, right? The guys that got all the headlines in the pre-draft process, and after that, they've all shown up. They all have the look, like you and I talk about, the look test, right? Does that look right? Does their movement look right? All of that. And, for rookies, a lot of them are going to be under the gun to, perform and be a big part of the offense right away. So that's what's interesting about the group. But, damn, it does look pretty talented so far.
All right, a little word association with the rookie first-round pass catchers, including also the tight end that went round one. Let's start with the 6th overall pick, Giants receiver Malik Nabers.
Mr. Do-It-All. I mean, that's who he is to me when I look at it. Malik Nabers, you haven't seen him. The Giants have been very simple on offense so far. But Mr. Do-It-All can be the guy that, do I call him Mr. Do-It-All or do I call him Mr. Redline? Because you've heard me say, he's reckless. You watch him practice, highlights here in the New York area, social media, all of that. But I say can do it all, too, because of his ability to, catch back shoulders, jump balls, do that. I think he's going to be an incredible slot receiver. And be able to work the middle of the field, let alone just line him up outside and go, oh, wait, that guy's man-to-man. He's going to run by him. Let's do it. Malik Nabers, I think, will be the most featured of the rookie receivers and the go-to guy, and the offense will be based around Malik Nabers and what he can do. But this is what I mean. The contortion of his body and these catches have been showing up all through training camp. I think his legs are a little dead right now because he's a new toy and they're probably giving him a ton of reps. But he is incredible with that type of stuff, and I'm excited to see what he can do for the G-Man. Here's a little back shoulder on the right sideline. Look at this, Mike. I mean, he is really good at that stuff. Body control, arms out, putting his body in vulnerable positions to catch the ball. Pretty incredible.
For me, it's OBJ with a question mark at the end. Because if you're going to be, and because he's going to be compared to Odell Beckham Jr., the last significant first-round rookie receiver that the Giants had who made a huge splash. But there was some bad with the good. There were some issues that went along with the superstardom. Does he become a star? How does he handle it? Does it lay the foundation for him to ultimately be out of New York like Beckham was? But yeah, I'm just curious, how much are we going to track Beckham and Nabers?
Yeah.
And that's not always a good thing. Track it in a good way. Maybe don't track the things where it went sideways. Not that it was his fault. It was a bad situation all around, but it did go sideways eventually.
Well, it did, right? As we know with superstar receivers, it can be like that. And Nabers is definitely a guy that's like, hey, give me the damn ball. That was a little bit of his MO if you talk to coaches around football at LSU, where he is got that type of personality. I should have the ball. I'm the man. I'm the best athlete on the team. Why wouldn't I have the ball all the time? But I hear you. The OBJ thing, there's some things about his game that are very similar. And, he's got a little personality to him, too. But hopefully it doesn't cross the line where he pisses the quarterback off in the organization.
Next one, Rome Odunze, Bears receiver. What's your word association?
Smooth. Yep, that was 4 O's in there, and that's smooth, okay? Just
5 syllables. You stretched a 1-syllable word out to 5.
He is smooth and surprisingly, I think, a little more explosive than I thought, really. That's what I would say. But, you were at like OBJ question mark, right? Rome Odunze is one of those guys, like he's got a guy on his team where you could almost write the same thing. You go Keenan Allen question mark, right? Is he going to be that? I think he is a lot like that, except I think he has more downfield speed. But smooth route runner. You could tell he's already comfortable in the offense. The way he adjusted to Caleb Williams on the scramble drill and then runs up the sideline and does that and makes the adjustment to the ball. Right? He's one of those guys where it doesn't look like he's running that fast, but then you go, wait, look, he turned the corner for 15. Okay, maybe he's a little faster than I thought. It's long stride in that way, but he's got great body control and great route running ability, and, of course, a little size to go with it.
Well, I mean, this is longer than just a word or two, but I wish the Bears hadn't drafted him. How about that? Because the team in purple is going to be dealing with this guy.
Yeah.
And you pair him with Caleb Williams. It is a perfect match. Maybe that's the simpler articulation. It just feels like exactly what needed to happen. Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze entering the league together. Not one guy was already there and here comes the other guy. They're coming in at the same time. They're joined at the hip. It's the best receiver-quarterback combination probably that the Bears have ever had, and they haven't even played in a regular season game yet. So I think he's going to be great. And we liked him a lot at the scouting combine.
Definitely.
I interviewed him at one point after that, and I like him even more. Yeah, he's Bears fans should be feeling pretty good about what they've got, and just nervous and hope that it all works. It's kind of like, all right, let's see how this goes, because it feels like it could be good.
I think the way it looks with the Bears and him, first off, I'm with you that it could be a special connection for a long time. I'm going to predict right now DJ Moore's number 1 in that offense. Rome Odunze will be number 2, and Keenan Allen will be number 3. From what I've seen on the field and the polish Odunze has and all that, and then, of course, the connection with Caleb Williams, I think he's going to have a big part in this offense.
What an amazing collection of receivers. And then you have DeAndre Swift at tailback.
Yeah.
All right. Raiders tight end Brock Bowers, 13th overall pick.
Right. It's Swiss Army knife. Okay, he hasn't played a ton. He only played in that first preseason game, and maybe it was 2 drives. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But Mike, we know we can catch the ball, do all that stuff, but they used him in a way of, hey, traditional tight end, right? Tight end right off the edge of the other tight end and Mayer, split him out at receiver a bunch, put him in the slot, put him at fullback a few times, right? So they are going to get him on the field in some way, shape, or form there and utilize him and his athletic ability. So I'm excited to see what they do with Brock Bowers and of course, the other tight end and Mayer. They got a real duo there that's pretty talented.
The ghost of the ghost. Remember the ghost?
Yeah.
That was before your time. Dave Casper.
Oh, right.
The great tight end of the Raiders back in the 70s.
Yeah, sure.
I think that this may be one of those situations where all of a sudden you've got this great pass-catching tight end. And, look, they had – why am I blanking on the guy who just retired that they traded to the Giants?
Darren Waller.
Why am I doing that?
Darren Waller.
Right. That's right. Thank you.
No problem.
It's not like they haven't had great pass-catching tight ends, but it just feels like when you make the guy the 13th overall pick.
That's right.
Your first-round pick. You're pinning so much on him. You're kind of putting him on that pedestal. I feel like this has the potential to be special, and they have Michael Mayer too. It's easy to look at the Raiders as also Rans, but when you start looking name by name, it's like they got some stuff. If it all falls together, and Bowers is going to be a big part of that, they could be better than a lot of people expect.
Yeah, quarterback play. Can they run the ball a little bit with White at running back and let O-line be there? And they got a little more talent than I think maybe people realize.
All right, Jaguars receiver Brian Thomas Jr. What comes to mind for you there?
Watch out. Right? I would say this. Out of all the receivers I've watched, and listen, it's preseason, and these guys are learning. I know that. And a lot of the times when you're young, you're the new toy. Gosh, does the coach love to send that guy deep like 75 times during practice? Look what you can do. Look what you can do. And then, sometimes they get to the game and they might not be explosive. But with Brian Thomas Jr., out of all the wide receivers, and I've watched them all, he's the fastest. He's the most explosive, right? And he looks like he's learning releases and some of the things that he might have been a little raw with coming out of LSU. I mean, that's special right there. But clips of him when he does catch the ball, or even clips where he didn't get the ball and he's out there, he runs by people. He is a specimen. He looks like a Calvin Ridley in a lot of ways with his body makeup. He could be one of those guys where, he wasn't the top 10 pick, but I'd say, watch out for. He could be the big play guy for the Jaguars.
I remember you had him at number 2.
Yeah.
You had Malik Nabers, Brian Thomas Jr., and then Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right.
When you were going into the draft with your receiver rankings. I see him as Trevor Lawrence contract justification, because having that guy around is going to make Lawrence a better quarterback. Because what's going to happen? Teams are going to realize we got to double him. We got to account for him. And then you got all the other weapons. It's going to be a lot easier for Trevor Lawrence to play quarterback with Brian Thomas Jr. taking that defense and forcing, one of the things you like to say, coverage of every blade of the grass. Having a guy like that makes that happen.
Yes, exactly. That's the good offenses make you do that. You heard me last year complain with Jacksonville. There's too much intermediate short passing game. They need to find more ways to kind of infuse deep passes into the normal offense. I think Brian Thomas Jr. will kind of give them the confidence to do that a lot more in that offense.
Last one, Chiefs receiver Xavier Worthy, who set the 40-yard dash record at the scouting combine. What do you got?
They needed this, or missing piece, maybe I should say that. They needed something to where there was a guy that you had to worry about going deep, flying down the football field. I mean, he is Mr. Straight line, pedal to the metal, right? He can fly straight line. Long strider for his size, like kind of a deceiving speed, right? Could probably work on his quickness and ability to shake people a little bit. Doesn't make a lot of people miss that way, but on plays like this where, hey, he gets a release and now he gets upfield and the safety's like, oh, no, I don't know if he's running the post or running to the corner, but I know I need to back up because I can't run with him. He is going to open up people within that offense, let alone he is going to be a target for Mahomes down the field. He is a real down-the-field threat, this Xavier Worthy, and that's where I think you'll see him make his money this year. He's not going to be a lot of underneath in the middle of the field. I don't think he's made for that. It's the stuff we saw right there that I think he's going to be really good at.
For me, it's don't get hit. I mean, he really does remind you of Deshaun Jackson.
No doubt.
Very slight of frame, and you don't want to put too much weight on a guy like that because then he starts to lose the speed.
Right.
Now, depending upon the quality of the muscle, I don't know, maybe he could get faster if they do it the right way. But just watching those clips, it's like, don't hurt him. I mean, we've been around. I mean, you lived.
Well,
it.
We just saw Hollywood
Giants.
Brown get hurt in
These
the first game. Similar guy, right?
These are giants, and this is just a normal-sized human being who looks tiny and skinny and out of place among the redwood trees. And I worry about that. You got to use him in a way that ensures he's going to be available because they need him. They need Hollywood Brown whenever he comes back. They need Rashee Rice. They need those guys. That trio now of guys who can give the offense an element that, you know, it's been lacking since Tyreek Hill was traded.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Last year there was not enough people that scared a defense at the receiver position. I think Rashee Rice is ready to take the next step as long as he doesn't get suspended here to where we go, wow, he's the number one go-to guy. And I think guys like Xavier Worthy are only going to emphasize that even more because of the ability to stretch the field, reverses around the edge, a screen every now and then. He can certainly take some pressure off the offense with his big play ability.
Okay, you have a chance to win $1 million in the NBC sweepstakes on Yahoo Fantasy. Just download the redesigned Yahoo Fantasy app or go to NBCSports.com/fantasymillion for additional details. What are you waiting for?
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.